In the coastal town of Bodrum, Turkey, in 1954, Kemal Aras, a sponge diver, chanced upon what seemed like the remnants of a shipwreck. It was at the depth of 26 to 28 meters. As luck would have it, an American named Peter Throckmorton was nearby, cataloguing shipwrecks along the coast. Kemal approached Throckmorton and shared his findings with him, and in 1960 a team led by George Bass returned to the site, beginning the first large-scale underwater archaeological excavation. Most of the ship had long disintegrated, leaving some mortise and tenon joints which, in conjunction with the stone anchor, were analysed and determined the ship to have been from Cyprus. The wood fragments were used to estimate the ship size, ranging from 10 to 16 metres. The larger size being more similar to the Uluburun shipwreck found nearby, which had sunken about 100 years earlier. Around 1200 BC, a merchant tinker set sail, carrying his personal seal handed down to him from early generations for financial transactions. Typically, he would go where the wind directed him, as was common at the time. However, on this voyage he chose to follow the currents heading west towards Cape Gelidonya after departing from Cyprus. His trade was to travel to many ports, trading metal scraps, ingots and other items, and providing tool repair services along the way. On this fateful trip, disaster struck, and the vessel hit a rock beneath the surface that tore through the hull, scattering its cargo in a linear trail across the sea floor. The boat eventually settled 50 metres away on the shallow sands of the seabed. Its voyage abruptly halted until roughly 3,000 years later. As Bass's diving commenced, the team discovered artefacts that were more than mere relics. They were symbols of a transformative ancient technology. Think of the magnificent empires from 3000 to 1200 BC. They would not have been possible without this singular innovation. And what might this game-changing technology be? It's the humble bronze axe. But do not let its simplicity deceive you. Bronze was more than just a metal. To the people of the day, it was the equivalent to what the microchip is to us. The technology on which their civilization depended. By melding copper and tin to create bronze, they unlocked new possibilities that had previously been unimaginable. The tale of bronze is not just about metal, it's a story of humanity's innovative spirit, a spirit that continues to fuel our technological advancements to this very day. The advent of bronze was more than just a technological leap. It illuminates the vast trade networks essential for its creation. Acquiring copper and the rare tin from distant lands made international trade vital. There's debate about the specific identities of the traders in the Eastern Mediterranean during this period. Bass posits the Syrian middlemen dominated the copper trade, with the mining undertaken by the native countries where the metals were located. However, given the nature of the evidence at hand, this assertion remains highly speculative. What is not in dispute is the interconnectedness of the Bronze Age trading world was catering for the growing demand for bronze, which was fueling both economic and population growth. As the efficiency of bronze axes became widely acknowledged, demand surged and their use widespread. The increased durability and cutting efficiency of bronze tools, especially axes, greatly impacted agriculture. Better tools meant more land could be cleared and cultivated, leading to surplus production. This surplus allowed societies to support larger populations, trade excess produce, and engage in more complex economic activities. However, with the boom came the bane. The superiority of the weaponry that bronze afforded also intensified warfare. By the late Bronze Age, specialised craftsmen and workshops dedicated to its production had developed all manner of axes and blades. The collection of axes on this ship varied significantly in purpose and design. Some awaited repair while others were destined for remoulding. The sizes varied widely too. Some were as small as chisel-like blades, measuring roughly 6 by 2 centimetres with a thickness of 1 centimetre, while the larger axes went beyond 20 by 7 centimetres and were about 2 centimetres thick. Most of the axes found fall under the Maxwell-Hislop Type 2 classification, like the Mycenaean ones found in the Acropolis, while others were the De Shire's type axes. Although these axes share features with their contemporary counterparts, they were generally more slender and employed simpler attachment techniques. For instance, there were axes designed specifically with sharp edges suitable for woodworking. Others were sturdier, with blunter edges intended for tasks like mining and stonework. Some axes were purposed for agriculture, and a few possessed edges optimal for metalwork. The attachment method of the handles varied. A common method involved tying the handle to the blade using a cord. Sometimes the binding was aided by lugs on the blade for better grip. In contrast, more innovative methods included two bronze flaps curled around the handle, reminiscent of the design on modern-day shovels. Another notable method involved a pre-made hole in the axe head, allowing the handle to fit securely, offering enhanced stability and durability. Most of the axes on board were being recycled. Their sockets had been cut off from the axe heads and stored separately, probably because flat blades were easier to work with than the round sockets. At both the front and back of the ship was stored the bulk of the cargo, consisting of 40 20-kilogram oxide copper ingots and 20 Bunn bronze ingots, which isotope testing confirmed to be of Cypriot origin. All the ingots were wrapped in matting. During this period, transporting raw metals in the form of ingots was common practice. His inventory also encompassed smaller ingots of various metals, lead scraps, about 75 kg of broken ingots, and bronze tools stored in wicker baskets. He also carried an array of colourful beads, a lamp, and jars filled with perishable goods. This merchant's journey can be likened to a modern global company, sourcing materials from one part of the world, manufacturing in another, and selling to a third. The world has always been more interconnected than people assume. While there's debate over whether our merchant hailed from Cyprus, based on the ship's origin, or from the Levant, considering the source of the personal seal, the inherent individuality of the seal suggests it's a more dependable means of determining the merchant's origin. Remarkably, our merchant possessed ancient imitations in his personal collection, such as counterfeit Egyptian scarabs. These small beetle-shaped amulets bore the engravings of the god Amun-Ra. This underscores that in the ancient world beliefs and ideas were exchanged too, illustrating a richer, more intertwined cultural fabric than previously perceived. Due to the frequent trade ports of the Eastern Mediterranean, the ship was furnished with balance pan weights, which can be likened to the gold standard of yesteryear, a universally accepted benchmark ensuring fairness and consistency in trade. This would have allowed him to trade with the diverse lands of the Eastern Mediterranean from Egyptian Syria and Palestine to Cyprus, Troy, the Hittite Empire and Crete. As the ship's cargo settled into the depths, above, the world teetered on the brink. We can see the turmoil through the metal on this ship. Rather than being smelted fully, these ingots bear the signs of a hurried process, not quite reaching its full molten potential. The tireless merchant aboard our sunken vessel could not have known, but his cherished bronze was slowly over the next 5 centuries paving the way for a future of iron and beyond. A leap that would resonate through millennia, forever altering the course of civilizations. The world this ship inhabited is a twilight realm, with the last beams of the Bronze Age casting long shadows, while whispers of iron murmured through the forges. Though bronze still had many years of widespread use ahead of it, the slow but steady introduction of iron was ushering in a new age. The end of the Bronze Age wasn't the end of bronze. Even as iron began its reign, bronze persisted in its importance. It was used for statues, decorations and armour, even by the Romans, proving that true legacies never fade. Thus, our voyage through the realm of the Bronze Age is more than a mere echo from the abyss. It's a saga of perpetual striving, a testament to the ceaseless tide of innovation that defines the spirit of humanity.